Jupiter and Taurus. When Jupiter goes into Taurus, Jupiter is all about expanding your above your horizon. So when you expand, you need to go above your horizon. Don't come back down here to Earth. You need to take what you know on Earth and apply that on a day-to-day basis. Because Jupiter is all about bringing luck. Jupiter is all about bringing love. Jupiter is all about bringing unconventional ways of doing things. And Jupiter is all about bringing creativity. And of course, if you could be very kind and generous, and of course, more mature, Jupiter is going to basically bring you all the experiences that you need into your life. And now, what is Taurus? Taurus is basically predicated towards tea. Tea represents the tea, aka what tea are you drinking? Are you drinking the tea of being down to earth? Making sure you put in all those tea bags in perspective, making sure those tea bags is filtered properly so we can drink well. Because of course, that's what a Taurus gonna do. A Taurus gonna make sure that shit is fixated. Taurus gonna make sure that shit is built upon for you to be able to actually let that shit soak and for you to drink very perfectly well. Also, when Jupiter is in Taurus, Jupiter is all about bringing new abundance. And of course, abundance is key in life, right? You got to have more in life. You can't just have limitations and restrictions. But of course, Jupiter is going to work with Taurus. And of course, Jupiter is going to make sure that Taurus use this energy in order for Taurus to basically rise above the horizon. And now when we talk about Jupiter and Taurus, we ain't just talking about a natal chart. We're talking about the general, and of course, we're talking about the natal chart. But of course, most importantly, when we have Jupiter and Taurus, you're going to find all your wisdom, all your knowledge, and taking your time. And of course, even though Jupiter loves to expand and grow and move a lot, Taurus loves to be down to earth. Taurus loves to take their time. But of course, if it wasn't for Earth, fixated Taurus, if Taurus wasn't there to push it into perspective and make sure it's fixed up, then Jupiter ain't going to be able to actually bring this shit down here. When Jupiter bring his shit down here, it's going to burn. It ain't going to be able to actually coexist with the Taurus or coexist with the Earth or the Gaia. So, of course, that's why we need Taurus to make sure this shit is fixed up. Make sure this shit is being stable. Make sure this shit is being worked on a day-to-day basis. You don't just work on a house and leave it unworked upon the next day. You need to work on that house every day. You need to come together. We need to work together. Teamwork make the dream work in this motherfucker. So it's all about practicality and stability. Ain't just one person going to be able to actually get this thing done. But of course, we need all arms. We need all legs. And of course, Taurus represents the throat. So it's all about the throat chakra. And of course, the way we think and communicate, the way we interact, the way we work together, we're going to get this shit built up. We're going to make sure this shit is basically infiltrated. And of course, when we got Jupiter and Taurus, you need to take your generosity, you need to take your kindness and your fairness and apply this towards being practical, being down to earth, being stabilized, and make sure that whatever dream that you are going after, make sure it's a practical dream. Make sure it has a purpose. Make sure it has a true meaning and a true reasoning in order for you to basically expand above your horizon. Whatever you have to offer to the world, whether it's a dream, a gift, a goal, or whatever you have to basically expand and give out to the world. Jupiter is watching you. Jupiter is watching you very closely. So, of course, you need to take your time and, of course, figure out how you're going to penetrate and put these actions into perspective. So it's all about what you're going to do in life. Never put yourself in a circumstance situation of downing yourself or thinking negative. Because, of course, Jupiter want to make sure you have a lot of good luck in your path. Jupiter want to make sure you have a good luck in your perspective. Jupiter want to see you rise above your horizon, go above the limit, and of course, try not to overindulge a lot, because when you have Jupiter and Taurus, Jupiter don't know what the word stop means. Stop, fire can't stop. Fire keep going. So of course, you may overindulge a lot when it comes to eating a whole lot of foods, drinking a whole lot of things. You may get too lost into your desires. Try to make sure you doing things on a spiritual perspective. Try not to get all over the place or out of tack or out of whack, because of course your ass gonna get whacked. And of course, Saturn ain't there, so of course you ain't gonna have no limits. You ain't gonna have no restrictions, because of course Taurus get attacked by all senses, aka 5 senses: hear, feel, see, smell, touch. They love to hear things, so of course whatever they hearing, they're gonna be into it. Whatever they feel, they're gonna basically feel it. They're gonna go deep into it, because of course Cancer is there too. Whatever they see, they're gonna basically have their eyes and their visions on it. They're gonna stay fixated on that vision. Whatever they touch, they're gonna basically want to be touching that forever. They ain't gonna never ever want to lose this touch. And of course, Scorpios, they opposite signs. So Scorpio is all about basically touching, emotional comfortability. So of course, That's what you're gonna basically be predicated towards when you got Jupiter and Taurus. Jupiter goes real deep. Jupiter loves to expand above the horizon. Jupiter go very far. Jupiter go very extreme the horizon. So make sure, like, whenever you taking your above the horizon perspectives and your generosity and your careness and your kindness, make sure it's in a more suitable and seductible way that's going to basically work into your perspective. Because teamwork makes the dream work. Of course, if you're fixating down to earth and taking that goal very serious, you're going to accumulate all that you need. Try not to overindulge too much, though, because you either way, Jupiter and Taurus, you're gonna always receive a lot of money, because of course everything gotta come down to Earth. Everything, if it's too heavy, it's gotta come down. There's too many resources, too many things out here in this world, and of course, the universe like to expand and grow. So either way, you're gonna receive all the accumulations of that. But everything starts from the top and it's gonna make its way to the bottom. But always understand and understand that you have a top, and of course you have a bottom, you have an inner, you have an outer. So of course use all these things. Never get focused or stuck into one way of doing it. Get focused and infiltrated on new reasons, new meanings and reasons on how to learn these things on a day-to-day basis, so you can accumulate and of course backtrack all the things that you need in your perspective to go above your horizon. Because of course you don't want to be down here forever. You need new experiences, you need more learning, you need more skills, you need more determination. And of course, that's all about rising above and going above your horizon. So never ever down yourself, never ever lose yourself. Don't neglect yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Always check yourself. And of course, that's what it's all about. Jupiter actually Jupiter can deal with this. It's gonna be a whole lot of misunderstandings at time, a whole lot of inconjunctions, because Jupiter loves to expand and grow. So at times, Taurus is like kind of exalted in this position. So Taurus go to the extreme. Taurus going to overindulge. Taurus going to do it all. Taurus going to want to go above the horizon. Taurus going to want to do this in their own way. And of course, it's like an ant crawling on a motherfucking hot dog or some shit. And of course, the ant going to make sure all the other ants in the family come chew on this hot dog and shit. So of course, it goes real far when we talking about this. But that's Jupiter and Taurus on that perspective. Try to have a practical plan. Try not to overindulge. Try not to lose yourself, but of course, have a fixated, a practical plan. And of course, learn how to be more mutable and adaptable on how you can figure out ways on how to put those bolts in them screws and screw down them dreams, so you can basically bring that shit down here on Earth into perspective.